Hi everybody, it's Az here from Heel vs Babyface. Now pay attention, because this could get very complicated very quickly. I'm here at the Spirit Kings, which is the second boss in the Mogu'shan vaults that Blizzard have released today for beta testing. It's the third raid boss in the Mogu'shan vaults released for testing altogether, but it's the fourth boss in the actual raid itself. And Gara'jal, who we did on the last video, he's actually the third boss that was second, but the Stones Guard, who were the first boss, actually are the first boss. Very complicated stuff. In other words, we haven't had the second boss yet. But here I am, Spirit Kings, and we're taking care of the trash leading up to him. Now, this is the first video. This footage is the first attempt that we did on the Spirit Kings, and we do wipe. However, we very nearly kill them, and something cocked up with the fraps, and I didn't manage to film the kill itself, but I do have footage afterwards, so don't worry. But that sounds at the minute as if it's going to say, yeah, it took us a couple more attempts and we did it. In all theory, that's how it should have gone. That's how I should be speaking now. But it took us another hour and a half to kill the boss, and it's completely our fault. The boss is absolutely brilliant. There's some wonderful mechanics in the fight, but you need to have full concentration and you need to have full cohesiveness within the raid, and it was little mistakes here and there causing people to die, or their mistakes causing other people to die, that was making this fight, which we should have done a lot quicker, suddenly last 90 minutes long. But to be honest with you, I wasn't particularly bothered because I thought this fight was great. And personally, on a personal level, I think that fights should be fun and interesting as opposed to being really easy or really difficult. I think that brings more people into the game than anything. But there you go. That's just me. That's just me. But the first boss that we're going to tackle out the four, because they come at you, come at me, brah, one at a time, and it's all random, so this is not necessarily your makeup. And this is Xian of the Endless Shadow, and he's a caster, and he does three main abilities. He's got a Charged Shadow, which does 85k damage to the target, and then, if anyone is within 8 yards of the target, it will chain, like chain lightning. So make sure that you spread out. And he does a Shadow Blast, which is splash damage for 100k in an 8-yard radius. So if anyone is within the yardage, then you will take that splash damage. But its main ability is called Undying Shadow. And this is its main ability for a couple of reasons. It casts it, and the Undying Shadow spawns and then fixates on the nearest target. In this case, it's me, and I'm running around. It's only got 200k health, but if anybody is within 10 yards of it, they will take 20k damage per second, and this is shadow damage. So it's very easy to burn down. Try and get it near to the wall as soon as possible. However, after 30 seconds, it will reform and get back into the fight, and the boss will still cast random ones as well. So you're going to get multiple ones within the fight, and most importantly, because now the boss has returned to its spirit form, that ability stays in the fight for good. So it's now on top of the next boss's abilities, and this is SOOOO. I think I got that one right. SOOOO, the Swift. And he does, again, three main abilities. He does a Rain of Arrows, which when he fires them into the air, if they come down on your target, they will pin them to the ground. And those targets, it could be multiple ones, it's AoE, will take 15,000 damage every second that they're pinned until you destroy the arrows around them. And then it does a volley in 3 bursts. And it starts off in a wide cone, and then it starts to get smaller and smaller. And in damage, though, increases. So the first volley shot does 50,000 damage in a big wide cone. The next shrinks the cone but does 75k damage, and then the final one is a very narrow cone but does 100k damage. So if you're the target of the volley, it's in your direction, get out of the way. But SOOOO's ability, which will carry on once he's returned to the spirit realm, is called Pillage, and it strips you naked, and I mean literally strips your character naked, and reduces the attack, healing and armor abilities by 50%. Now, we've introduced Meng, and I've got a chuckle because he's my favourite. He's absolutely my favourite. He does two things. He jumps between a cowardice and a crazed state, and he does an ability called Maddening Shout. A Maddening Shout turns all the raid against each other and does 10,000 shadow damage every 3 seconds that it's active. But don't worry, if you attack your own player, you only have to do 10k's worth of damage to break the Maddening Shout. It's fine. So keep grouped up, really. And then when it comes, you can do some AoE, and it should affect everybody. But it's two phases that it goes through, the crazed and the cowardice, are very interesting indeed. When it's in its crazed phase, it gains insanity every half a second. And this increases its damage levels by 2 times the amount of sanity that's currently stacked. And then once it gets to 100 stacks of insanity, he will then jump into his cowardice mode where he runs away, but again gains insanity every half a second. However, he becomes reflective, and all damage that you fire at him will reflect back to the tune of 50% of what you did. So if that Chaos Bolt that I just did then was attacked and reflected back on me, that would have done 80k's worth of damage to me. And I'm sure it didn't. No comment. So, the Maddening Shout, the one that turns you all against each other, is the ability which will stay once we've defeated it and it goes back into its spirit form. And that leaves us with our final boss, which is called Kreng the Merciless. And this is where we wipe. And we shouldn't have done, because his abilities are very, very easy if you just pay attention. There was an Annihilate, and that would do 1.5 million damage to all enemies within 20-yard conal effect. So when it starts to cast it, just jump behind the boss, stack on the tank. What you saw running away in the distance was the flanking orders, and all you have to do is move out the way. If you're 4 yards in front of it, it will hit you for 500,000 damage. And its final ability, one that you do have to all stack in front of the boss about, was its massive attacks, which does 600 damage spread amongst the raid. So follow the tank's lead at all times. And here the raid leader for us has managed to put a very nice diagram together about how he should move when the flanking order comes. So just drop down a couple of raid markers and you'll be easy enough to move to it. So here we go. I've managed to get the fraps working again just after we killed the bosses, and they're all their deed bodies. However, I said to the raid leader after the first wipe, I said, Morona, we need to fight Qiang first. So we need to just reset this boss back and forth until we get him first, because he does too much damage with all the other stuff going on around. Let's get rid of him, and then we can do the fight, no problem. And he said, no, Az. We'll just do it the way we're doing it. So what happens? The kill that we just did was when he decided to listen to me. And we tackled Qiang first. And the fight became so much simple. It really did. So, Morona, take your punishment like a man. We dragged him, kicking and screaming, to the base of the Mogu'shan vaults, where the pit of Mogu'shan was waiting for him. I think we know what's coming now, don't we? Now, he thought we were crazy, but this isn't crazy, mate. Raiding is Sparta! And off he goes. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Poor guy. Don't worry, we will fish him out for the next batch of raiding. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/heel versus babyface. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.